Alrighty. So today's video is going to be a little different. I received a request for like a tutorial, or not just one tutorial, but some series of tutorials on playing Ratlock and how to best navigate the deck. And I do want to do that. I don't So getting games in with Ratlock is kind of annoying. I want to play against people who want to play against the deck, and if I'm just sitting waiting on TCG1 for a game, even if I get one, it might be like somebody who is counter decking me. Which, I mean, if they want to play, something like Drag Trout or whatever against me, that's fine. But that might not make for the most enlightening guide. And or I might just have somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing, and then if I beat them, it's like, well, yeah, but it there was a mismatch of experience here that is quite significant. Or people just don't want to play against it for very understandable reasons. So I do want to make more videos um, that are like recordings of me playing the deck and then me commentating over it, similar to how Jay Horning has done in some of his videos. But for now, I did want to kind of just go through this game that I had against Towards Rayler um, in the Stambler Open. Let me just see. Um, Unfortunately, I don't know how OBS likes that. Oh well, I think I saw it looked okay. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just run this. So you can't see my hand um, in this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the speed on a little quicker. And well, you can see Towards hand. Interesting. I don't know if you can always see it though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they edit that soon. Anyways, so you can't see my hand, but I do want to kind of go through this and just kind of give the general ideas that you want to be cognizant of. So, uh, starting the game out here, um, I get a pretty nice early Scott, and I'm able to also get quite a few bench things down. So against Rayler, if they open with a lone Rayquaza or Rayquaza in any capacity, getting Espeon out is really nice. It kind of forces them to deal with that in some way. If they're getting tails, then it makes Rayquaza EX easier to KO later, and also blanks an attack. So getting Espeon down against most of their opens is honestly really good. Being able to just force them to deal with confusion in a deck that usually is not prepared to deal with that. The only confusion that's really common is Screechy Voice, which Rayler doesn't worry about. Um, and so from there, I don't. Yeah, I think that I prized. I don't remember. Maybe I prized Magnemite. I feel like normally I would have gone for Magnemite so I could retreat to Jirachi. Um, but here in Ratlock versus Rayleigh, you're kind of just chilling. They have to kind of make the initiative to do something. And one thing that you should keep in mind is that against Rayler and decks of that nature, Cambler, that kind of thing, um, the Minun and the Stantlers that they throw out at you can be annoying. It's like, all right, I'm trying to drain their resources and they keep getting them back with Minun. Or I try to like recur my resources and they keep doing push away with Stantler. But the point is that they cannot win the game if they're just doing that the whole time. You will win the game by like simple mathematics over time. They are going to have to get Rayquaza EX involved or Camerupt involved and actually like hit hard enough to start winning the game. They're not going to win off of like doing 40 pushaways. Like it's just not going to happen. And so you can afford to be patient in these sort of stalemates where it was like I kind of am sitting in the active with a confused Murkrow and like I kind of just have to wait. But eventually, I do get the Murkrow out of the active, and I get Jirachi. Jirachi is usually quite good to just have as a general guy in the Rayler matchup. Um, Even though, as you see here, he is able to get the Cess off, it's still like nice to just have something there that you can at least get a little bit of setup going. I have a decent sized hand at this point. I don't remember what was in my hand, but um, and I guess if I had to get the Murkrow, I had to get Confusion out, so this was a good thing to go to. Uh, and you play enough cards to deal with Cess that them hitting you with Cess isn't really a big deal. And like I said, I mean, if we just sit here and he sits here with Minun all day, I mean, he's not going to win the game. He has to eventually make something happen with Rayquaza. And here, yeah, I'm able to Night Song up the Rayquaza, and I can just keep doing this. He hits a heads on the Super Scoop up here. Um, and that's annoying, but he does play for Super Scoop Up, which I think is how Rayler should be building going forward. Sniff Style gets the Super Scoop Up back. With Murkrow, you can always, if you've got the energy to spare, you can always plunder. I think I didn't have it, so I just Night Songed. But either way, it's a similar ordeal. He's going to have to do something in order to, interrupt my flow. Eventually, he gets his third cessation crystal down, and it still doesn't really matter. I can still just keep using Night Song, or here I can even plunder. And so, if he wants to retreat and sniff out the cess, he can. Otherwise, he's going to have to retreat to Stantler to put some kind of pressure on me. And he is going to discard my Brinies, which is the right choice. Brinies is a really good card to discard in this matchup for the Rayler player. But I'm under no pressure. I can just start discarding his cessation crystals. And every time I do that, he has to burn more resources than I do to get them back. He has to retreat and then sniff out, which costs him an energy. And then I can just use Night Song and then bring up the other Minun. And then that's going to need to use an energy to wake that up. And not energy to wake it up, it's going to need an energy to attack, and it's going to need a head flip to wake it up. So you're using a resource and you need to get lucky. And he needs to get lucky a bajillion times. I only really need to get lucky a couple of turns to really start mounting an advantage. So he starts using push away. When this starts happening to you, don't panic. You are going to lose cards to Stantler's push away. You are going to lose cards that you don't want to lose. You're going to lose Windstorms. You're going to lose Pows. You're going to lose Brinies. It's okay. I promise you that if you play your cards right, literally with this deck, you are fine losing some of these cards in this matchup. So what ends up happening is Murkrow's at a low HP, and if I leave it in, he can keep using push away, and he can't keep using push away because then he's going to turn on my pal. But I think here I wanted to pick up and just get some resources back. Yeah, I wanted to get my warp energy back and start, just trying because I don't really need Murkrow to attack anything at this point. Um, I kind of rather want the energy going. And here I get more turns to quick search at this point. And here I'm able to Night Song up the Ray EX, and then I also get Sceptile EX set up at some point here. He gets the Super Scoop Up off, and kind of undoes my progress. And at this point, he misses on ER2, but it doesn't. The Ratlock does not care about ER2 like at all. There are like very specific times early game where it's annoying, but like it recurs so much energy just by playing the game normally that it really doesn't matter. Um, he gets another push away. Honestly, I could have left this Murkrow active if I wanted to, but or I guess yeah, here I had a good backup here, which was just to get the unknown and then get the Ray EX back. He can super scoop up, but um, he's going to need to sniff this out every single turn, and I have Murkrow, and he has to hit heads. And here I can just go into Rat, get my energy back, get my Brinies back. He can go into Stantler and kind of make the job more annoying, but you see, he's losing cards. I mean, he's losing cards over time to this. I go to Murkrow. I'm going to Night Song the Rayquaza back up. Even if he gets heads, he has to attach and retreat, or he has to super scoop up. If he ever super scoop ups, I've got Unknown again. So over time, like there's just not an easy way for him to get out of this situation. Even if he attaches to Ray, I mean he's only one energy away from being able to special circuit. But the thing is, like I am not in any rush. If I'm getting back Brinies, then I don't really care if he's special circuiting. Um, and if he tries to special circuit Sceptile, I mean, if it's just one, I don't even care. But also, I've got Giant Stump to get rid of it. Um, I Brinies get Espeon back to hand because I can play that down and further annoy the Rayquaza. Um, and if you look at the amount of cards I have in deck and cards I have in hand compared to his, I've got more. And I'm going to keep getting more because Eradicate keeps getting more. So when you get to this position, you can say, all right, over time, I am gaining my cards back and he is losing cards. And there is a finite number of cards that the rayler player has to actually win the game. And here he's going to be hitting Pidgeot. He doesn't want to take the prize. He probably knows I play Giant Stump, so he doesn't want to go all out on Sceptile. I can go Brinies. I don't even think I had to do this. I think, yeah, maybe I didn't need to, but I go for it anyway. Um, and then I just grab the Brinies back. And then here, I think I made a bit of a Hail Mary going for the unknown hidden power, but something to keep in mind against a lot of decks, this is going to come up, and it came up here. Like, even if I miss the hidden power, it's not a huge deal. Like, that gives me hand knowledge. If I didn't hit a Rayquaza, but I hit like a Stantler, then that's not the worst thing either. He has to burn an energy to get rid of that too. Um, and even if I whiff entirely, I know what it is in his hand now. And it's not like I was doing anything super duper important otherwise with Eradicate that turn. I don't have any Pokemon or energy in the discard, and so and now if I retreat Unknown and I pick up, I can get that energy back, and I can get the Brinies back, and I know what his hand is. So this might seem like a Hail Mary hidden power, but it's really like I don't have a huge thing I can go for this turn with Rat. And if I hit the hidden power, it's like huge. And if I whiff it, it's not a big deal. Like I can get the energy back, I can get the Brinies back next turn, so whatever. Um, I guess he could have special circuit KO'd the Eradicate, but I had so many cards in my hand. I'm sure that that wasn't a real concern to me. Um, yeah. So, and also it's good to like weave in these like random hidden powers with unknown because you want to keep your opponent on their feet. And sometimes if you just like randomly hidden power when nothing's happening, then they're not going to be prepared for it. And I mean, his deck doesn't play a whole lot of things to. He doesn't play TV Reporter, but you should. You should play TV Reporter in Rayler to for this exact situation. But anyways, I get the Rayquaza down, and now I can continue to just pick up, grab Brinies. I'm gonna keep grabbing my like cards like Brinies back, and now I can start picking away at his hand with Stantler. Um, I don't really need the energy on the unknown anymore, and I don't need unknown on the bench anymore. If I need it down later, I can always play it down. It's very easy. And so a lot of times with Rat, the question of the deck in any given game is going to boil down to: do I want to attach energy to Stantler or do I want to attach energy to Sceptile EX? You can attach energy to both of them theoretically, but having energy on Stantler powered up for push away, Sceptile powered up for power revenge, and Eradicate powered up for pickup is like stretching your very few energy very thin. And so you don't usually want to commit all of that energy in that orientation. You want to say, all right, I'm either going to threaten Sceptile EX or I'm going to threaten Stantler. And in some situations against Rayler, you want to threaten Sceptile EX because you want to just have something that can immediately answer like a Rayquaza with 9 energy attached to it. And Sceptile can do that very well. Um, and sometimes you want to get in a position like this where you're telling your opponent, "Hey, you have to get out of this situation because if you don't, I'm just going to start chipping at your Rayquaza and getting cards out of your hand." And so in this situation, I don't really have like an offensive threat aimed at me, and so I can start developing Stantler. And Stantler is going to just be more useful than Sceptile to attack with in this context. Um, so he flips tails on a super scoop up. Um, I don't remember how unlucky he got with super scoop ups this game, but the point is that it doesn't really matter. He's going to flip tails on some of them, and over time, Raticate is just going to win the war of attrition every time. You played too many cards. Like here, I've got a Wobbuffet up, and now that just like complicates things even further. I drop an admin. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't really remember why I did that, but I think I wanted. No, yeah, I was pretty sure he didn't have a super scoop up in hand, and I wanted him to draw one off the admin. So I'm pretty sure that's why I did that. And he hits heads on ER2. Admins again is able to get the balloon berry and goes into Minun. And here I think I retreat to Rat. Yeah, I didn't have to, or I warp to Rat. I didn't. Oh no, I go back to Stantler. Okay, okay. I don't think I had to do this, but I push away to discard the balloon berry. Basically, just like put him on a bit of a clock. He has to sniff out the balloon berry, but here I can't push away. I can't turn on his pal and his Rayquaza. So then I can just go into Murkrow and I can start Night Songing. Okay, so here's the situation. If he whiffs, if he gets tails on sleeping, then he can't retreat with Balloon Berry that turn. So what I need to have happen is he needs to flip. If he flips heads here, it's not a big deal. So if he flips heads, he retreats to Minun and he gets the Balloon Berry back with Sniff Out. But that's not going to happen every time. He's going to start flipping tails eventually. And meanwhile, while that's happening, I'm going to be throwing down my Stantler and attaching energy to it. And I'm going to keep using Night Song and bringing up his Rayquaza EX over and over until eventually I've got 2 energy on Stantler and he flips Tails on Sleep, and then I can just discard the Balloon Berry with Push Away. Also, he has 5 cards in his deck, so I don't even need to do that. I can just keep using Night Song and keep bringing up Rayquaza, and he's going to deck out. So here, the game's over. There's nothing he can do. Like, from this position, he does not have enough energy or enough anything to win the game. And this is the game state you want to get it to in Eradicate versus Rayler. You want to be able to stop them from like really just ravishing through your hand early game with with push away. You want to stop them from establishing an early Rayquaza EX with Espeon preferably. Um, and you want to just get in this position where their lack of resources is going to come back to bite them. And the game, like I said, the game's over. He prolongs it a little bit. He retreats, gets the Balloon Berry back. I just do what I've been doing. Bring up the Rayquaza again. He flips tails here. I think he admins so that I can't push away, which is a smart move. I mean, you have to play to your outs, but there's just no way you can win in this position. Um, and yeah, here I didn't go for Stantler. I don't think. I'm pretty sure I retreat to Eradicate. Yeah, and I mean, there's no reason not to. Like, I have no reason to rush anything. I can just pick up and get back my Brinies and my Psychic Energy, and now I'm threatening Night Song and I'm threatening Push Away. Like, Bloomberry retreats, goes to Minun. Nothing to worry about here. I can always. He even drops Curse Stone, which like makes this a little easier for me, but it also didn't really matter. Um, I quick search. I Brinies. I don't even know why I did that. I did not need to do that, but go into Murkrow, attach, Night Song, bring up the Rayquaza. We're just gonna keep doing this over and over. Eventually, Curse Stone is going to KO the Pidgeot and turn on my POW access. I'm sure that like this Curse Stone was like a desperation thing. I'm sure he like understood that you're not supposed to play Curse Stone against Rat in a position where you're not like utterly dominating them early game. But it's you have to try something, and here he just oh, another thing, even if he gets into a position where like the prizes are even and he has enough energy on both Rayquaza to special circuit, I have Espeon to disrupt that, and I have Espeon to allow me to use things like Murkrow that are almost KO'd and then attack with the Murkrow. And if I flip tails, then I put myself into power range. So, like, the deck has ways of KOing its own Pokemon with Espeon. So that's another like trick you can use. Not usually against Rayler, just because like usually you're okay letting them eventually turn your POW on. Like they kind of have to do that to make progress. But I mean, it does exist. It's come up in games with against Rayler before for me. Um, and so now it's I'm just doing the same thing. I'm night songing up the Rayquaza. He's out of energy. Um, he's yeah. The Pidgeot gets KO'd. And then I think here, what happens? Um, I don't remember why I went for the. Oh yeah, because Rayquaza. I mean, yeah, I have nothing to. Yeah, I think I didn't have the energy to push away. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter at this point. Uh, Pickup gets me back. I can start recurring the Pidgeot in case anything comes up. He has to sniff out, and if he ever gets the super scoop up here, it doesn't really matter that much. First of all, if you flip tails, you just lose like immediately. Um, he sniffs out the Balloonberry. It's not going to matter. A power up the Rayquaza, retreat to Stantler, push away the Balloonberry, and that's it. He can't get out of the active. He can't attack, and he's going to deck out. Um, so that's going to be the game. And I think this illustrates like why this is just like a dominant matchup. In this tournament, I talked about it in my tournament report, but like I played ID-23, like some random person I never heard of with Arcanine, and maybe one other person at this point. And I was scared of all of those matchups, and then I played against the person who ended up winning the tournament toward like one of the strongest EX players and one of the strongest EX decks, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, it's just such a good matchup for Eradicate, and it's such a like good matchup in a way that's like very difficult for things to go wrong. Something like Bombtar, I mean, has very concrete ways of beating Ratlock. Something like Rayler, you just have to get like exceptionally like the rat player has to like prize Espeon Star and prize like Murkrow and prize like just really bad for the Rayler player to really stand a chance. And even then, the rat player has things they can do. And so yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. How long did this end up being? Oh, 20. Okay, so maybe 25 minutes of me talking. So hopefully that's good. So that's gonna do it. Um, and hope that this video was somewhat informative. And I do want to do more videos about playing Ratlock and how to navigate the matchups. So yeah, that's the something I want to do pretty soon. All right, goodbye.